going to say what will happen. The referee tonight, David Sosha, number 75. The senior linesman will be Jack Sander. The junior linesman will be Joe Bobel, and Donald Buslinger will be the fourth official on the field. There's a look at Pertti Alaya with a 1.43 goals against average. The Drillers goalkeeper, Helsinki, Finland, his hometown. The Strikers goalkeeper, Dutch Player of the Year in 1979 and 80, Jan van Beveren. And he has been an international 32 times for Holland. A 32-year-old, he's 6'1", 170 pounds, and just an outstanding player for this Fort Lauderdale Striker team. They're 11-7, 96 points. They're in first place in the National East. They're 7-2 here at Lockhart Stadium, and they've averaged 15,347 in this rather unique little park. The very distinctive uniforms of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, they are red and cream, and the Drillers, for the third time this year, wearing their white uniforms trimmed in blue and red. And you know, Brian, they've been successful. They defeated a touring team, if you'll recall, Bologna, by, they got 7 goals with these uniforms on, and they scored their only goal on the road wearing the white uniforms.
That was right in the first game against Houston when they got beat 2-1.
So perhaps it's an omen, because the Drillers have had their problems, as you know. They have lost 3 in a row. They are only 1 win, 5 losses on the road, but here's Mike Sweeney, little number 13, moving the ball upfield, trying to get to Drew Ferguson. Ferguson cut off on the play by Foles, and the ball kicks back to John Pott. They move it up into the midfield. We'll set the Fort Lauderdale Strikers for you offensively and defensively at first opportunity. Lex Schoenmacher, former Edmonton Driller last year, trying to kick a pass through for Rick Wiegand, number 21, a young man playing only his second game with Fort Lauderdale. And the play is whistled down. The foul is called on Schoenmacher, tripping, free kick Edmonton. The Drillers have Eddie Kirshner, number 9, playing center forward tonight. The other attackers will be Henk Tenkata, number 12, and John Guzens, number 17. In the midfield, it's Heinlein, number 8, Ostrom, number 6, and Ferguson, number 10. And the defenders, John Webb, number 5, getting it to Loda Vegas, number 4. They also, of course, have the great Peter Nogley, number 7, and Mike Sweeney, number 13. This is Ostrom moving the ball upfield now. Drillers trying to organize. They're in a zone defense tonight after going most of the season man-to-man. This is Ostrom. Ostrom looking for Kirshner. He can't handle it. The ball bounces through. Number 4 is their Hudson.
That was almost a nice ball, Al. Andre made good penetration on the right-hand side and made a nice pass into Eddie. The pass was too close to him. He couldn't gather it cleanly. The ball broke away from him, and it was passed back to the goalkeeper.
Jan van Beveren putting the ball into play, and this is Fort Lauderdale on the attack. They have Steve Ralbowski, Ken Fogarty, John Pott, and Rick Wiegand on the back line. The midfielders, Eduardo Bonvallet, Lex Schoenmacher, Colin Fowles, and Ray Hudson. And the dangerous attackers, the great GERD Muller, number 15, the great German star. Der Bomber, he's called. 9 goals so far this year. And Teofilo Cubillas. And Cubillas is number 10, 6 goals and 7 assists. He's a 5-time goal scorer in World Cup play. He's out of Peru. In fact, he's one of the all-time scorers in World Cup play. He is called the king of the midfield. 2 very dangerous attackers.
They are. They're very quick. They're very tricky. They have contrasting styles. Mueller's very dangerous in the 18-yard box. He can put the ball away from impossible angles. Whereas Cubillas can come in. He can come out from the 35-yard line. He can break in. He's very, very good that way. He can score as well.
Let's have a look at that replay. This is Schoenmacher, number 5, making a great drive. Alaya is there, and Pertti, I believe, has a slight injury around the jaw area, but he is going to stay into the game. This is Nogley moving the ball out over to Sweeney. Sweeney, number 13, moving up the left sideline. Kicks it ahead for Jan Guzens, just back, second game after a long injury spell. Ball moved out to Fowles. Fowles kicking it back for Hudson. Hudson to Colin Fowles. Fowles and Hudson trying to work a number on Sweeney. The ball goes through to Schoenmacher. Schoenmacher moves it across again. And Guzens comes back to help the defenders to Ostrom. Andre Ostrom firing it through, intended for Kirshner, intercepted, and once again Fort Lauderdale have possession. The ball flipped across on the far side. Beautiful field here in Fort Lauderdale, just manicured to perfection. Nice defensive move that time by the Edmonton Drillers' Drew Ferguson to keep the ball in the midfield area. Number 8, Colin Fowles, out of Jamaica, 26-year-old. Long flip pass by Hudson, headed out of harm's way. And the ball goes back to TEOFILO CUBILLAS. CUBILLAS moving through with Bonvallet. And Nogli was there. The Oak against Der Bomber tonight. Nogli called the Oak when he played for Hamburg in the German First Division. And of course, for many years, the great star of that division was Muller, 7-time scoring champion in German First Division, 62 times an international for Germany. He's 34 years old, but still very effective. Nogli makes a good attempt there against John Pott, and the ball goes to the goalkeeper.
That was a lovely ball from Eddie Kirchner. He pushed the ball through to Andre Oostrom, who was breaking through fast, and Andre beat his player for pace, but the man brought him down. It's a free kick to Edmonton right now.
No score in the game, and by the way, our contest is going again. We'll tell you about it as soon as this kick is in. That's our Score with Safeway contest, $775 to our contestant, Mrs. Kay Anderson of 9545 75th Avenue, if the Drillers score a goal in the first 15 minutes. That's $775 in the way of a voucher for merchandise. And the play goes awry that time.
Well, that was simply a boxed-up play, Al. It was a set play, and for some reason, Henk stopped rather than going forward. And by the time he recovered, the ball had gone behind for a goal kick.
Well, Timo Liakowski was asked just before the game what the game plan was against Fort Lauderdale.
Well, Lawrence, you know, he has a history of scoring goals, as I understand it, and he really hasn't been able to produce for us, and now Jan Goossens is healthy again. So I think that, you know, it's only natural that we would bring Jan Goossens back in, because he did score some goals for us, and Eddie and Hank Tenkade have been playing well enough for us, so hopefully Jan will do the trick.
Timo Liakowski with comments about the Drillers' plan against the high-powered strikers. This is number 14 for the strikers, Eduardo Bonvallet, getting it back to Ray Hudson. Hudson putting it through in the middle, looking for Der Bomber, GERD Muller. But the Drillers come away. This is Ostrom. Andre Ostrom moving up fast now. Drillers employing that zone defense, hoping to get more of an attack going out of that zone. Long pass, probably intended for Goossens, way too far.
It was, Al. It was Eddie was trying to switch the play completely there, but he mishit the ball and it never went near Jan Goossens at all.
Down goes Ray Hudson. The foul will be called on number 13, Mike Sweeney, and it'll be a free kick for the strikers with 38-22 remaining in this first half. And Mrs. Anderson of 75th Avenue and 95th Street hoping the Drillers can score. And this, of course, would mean $775 worth of groceries. There's a good look at Peter Nogli from Hamburg, 33-year-old, 180-pounder, 1 goal, 1 assist. This is Hudson. Hudson putting it through. Out comes Herty Alaya.
That's what Perry has to do. All those balls in that 6-yard box have got to be his when they're high balls. Al, he gone before to stand in his goal, and I hope his defenders will pick them up for him.
Lauderdaale lost a ball dangerously there, but regained it, and Lauderdaale clears the ball out to Ostrom. This is the very speedy Tenkade moving upfield now. As the Drillers try to organize, so far, Fort Lauderdale have proven that they are as dangerous as we have heard. Mike Sweeney on the near side now. Sweeney, number 13, at the 35-yard line. Leaves it for Goossens. Goossens fires a long shot. Oh, good save by Van Beveren on a super shot by Jan Goossens.
That was a beautiful shot by Jan Goossens. Al, it was probably about 25 yards out. We can see it on replay right now with Jan's breaking it in, shoots the ball, and it bounces almost before it gets to the goalkeeper, goes down quickly, makes a save at the bottom right-hand corner of the net. A real nice
this,
shot.
Of course, means corner kick. Corner kick, here it comes, right in front of the goal, dangerously close. They scored! The Drillers scored from that corner kick, and we can hardly wait to see this replay because they've had so many problems with corner kicks, Brian, and it breaks the longest drought in the world, and what a payoff, too, for Mrs. Anderson of 9545 75th Avenue, $775 as the Drillers scored on the corner kick, and we're going to have another look at it in just a moment here. The first goal in about 5 3/4 games for the Drillers on the road.
Nicely conceded now as well. It's one of those standard near-post corner kicks. Klaus took the kick. It was a little flick on by Drew Ferguson. It dropped at Eddie Kirshner's feet, and he just slid it into the net. It's a 1-0 game for Edmonton right now.
Well, we're back to the action here as the Drillers score suddenly. Goosen's just about scoring. That set up the corner kick that produced the goal. It's an own goal scored by the strikers. It went off a leg of a striker, obviously. But the own goal, they'll take it, I'll tell you. We're going to see a replay in a moment, and you'll probably see the ball will go off a striker player. There was a crowd of players when the ball was put into the corner of the net on a near post corner kick. This is Nogley racing through. Nogley takes a shot, but he's away wide. The ball rolling loose now in Fort Lauderdale territory. It goes over the line, and it'll be Edmonton ball. Let's have a look at that, Brian, now, because it happened very, very quickly.
Right, Alan. It is a corner kick. It is Drew Ferguson. Eddie Kirshner raises his hand as if he put the ball in the net. Obviously, he didn't. It must have struck one of the actual Fort Lauderdale players.
I think it
went
hit
behind
John
the goalkeeper.
Pot, number 3, I believe. In any case, it's an
We'll
own
take
goal,
it.
and,
We'll
and the
take it.
Drillers will certainly take it. They lead 1-0. And now our Safeway contest, of course, will await the 30-minute mark with time remaining in this first half before we start a new contestant to go for $100. Fort Lauderdale fans, and there's probably 12 or 13,000 of them here, despite the rain, a little shocked because I'm sure they felt that this would be a home game victory for their team. They currently lead the National East with 11-7 and very, very strong team at home. But the Drillers, they seemed to me earlier today, Brian, to be a very intent team. That they were getting very, very tired of that long losing streak.
I think so. They were confident. Timo was confident. He was expressing this too, as even though Fort Lauderdale are a good team, and even though Edmonton are playing away, he expressed some confidence in this game. And right now, Edmonton are playing very well. They're breaking fast, and they're taking the game to Fort Lauderdale.
Sean Mocker. And breaking through quickly was CUBILLAS right in front. A good save. Number 21 broke right in on top, Rick Wiegand, but a fine save by Perdi Alaya. Live from LOCKHART Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, this is Edmonton Drillers Soccer. Back to the action at cloud-covered LOCKHART Stadium. A good shot by Drew Ferguson. Another fine save by Jan Van Beveren. And the Drillers continue to get chances, Brian.
They're pressing Gal, and they're shooting right now. Catch a replay of this. You can see Drew breaking into the 18-yard box, and he hits the ball really well with the right foot. It's going to catch the top right-hand corner. The goalkeeper makes a save and puts it behind for the corner kick.
Another corner kick, and this, of course, the last time resulted in an own goal. Heinlein making the corner kick. Beautifully executed, actually, and the header almost beat Van Beveren. Another back kick by Nogley almost goes in. And finally, Rick Wiegand clears it a little bit, and the pressure is off, but the Drillers came close again.
That's the free kick given to the Fort Lauderdale strikers for dangerous kicking by Eddie Kirshner.
The scissor kick.
The scissor kick. But they're playing very well right now, Edmonton. Al. They're coming forward very fast. We just saw a nice ball from Mike Sweeney to Drew Ferguson to cover 25 yards. Drew cut in, and they're shooting the ball right now at the goal from 25 and 30 yards out, which is what they have to do to score the goals.
There goes Lex Schoenmacher, the ex-Driller, for a big tumble. No whistle on the play, and back comes Drew Ferguson for the Drillers. Ferguson drops it back for Goossens. Goossens, in turn, gives the ball very quickly to Heinlein. He fires it crossfield. John Webb, we might mention out there, number 5, still playing with that broken finger. He's checked. Teofilo CUBILLAS is over there to make the check. And it'll be Drillers' ball, and John Webb will put it in play. Webb throws it in. A little bit of pushing going on down there. Finally, the ball is taken by Fort Lauderdale, who trail 1-0. Coming upfield now. His fouls. He fires it through. And here's a great chance for DeBomber. He scores! GERD MULLER. He took the play, went in, and there he is, number 15. GERD MULLER, his 10th goal of the year, Brian, and it happened very suddenly.
It was a nice goal, Al. It was a beautiful through ball. It beat the defense who were playing up. We can catch a replay right now. You can see CUBILLAS hitting the ball. He strikes the ball firmly. It beats the defense. You can see Dwight missing the ball, sliding. It's between Dwight and Mike Sweeney. It puts Muller right through. Piercy has to come out. He goes down probably too quickly. Muller pushes the ball past him and he's got the wide open net to himself. They have a 1-1 game right now.
Well, a good shot by Muller, but of course it did look on the replay. Here's another look at it. Piercy slid a little quickly there. He might have stayed up a trifle longer, but Muller hit it beautifully. Muller hit it beautifully into the far corner. And that's the one that ties it up here at 1-1 here at Lockhart Stadium. And there's a very unhappy Pertti Alaya, who probably had his poorest game of the season at home against the Vancouver Whitecaps last Sunday. And now that goal will not make him any happier. So an own goal put the Drillers ahead 1-0. But very quickly, it was a pass by TEOFILO CUBILLAS putting GERD Muller in, and Muller made no mistake. His 10th goal of the year. He now has 23 points. And here he comes again. But this time the shot is rather ineffective, and Dwight Lodevegas has no trouble clearing it away. This is Ostrom in the midfield. Ostrom throws it across for Webb. His pass is knocked down, and very quickly Fort Lauderdale have possession again, and they are beginning to take over here. Number 15 is Muller, working with his other forward, CUBILLAS. The ball's dropped back to number 4, Hudson. The shot bouncing around there, and Guzens tries to extract it from the crowd unsuccessfully, and Fowles puts it back in play. Lech Schoenmaker. Schoenmaker for Wiegand. Wiegand from a bad angle. The ball comes bouncing rather harmlessly, and then Nogley has to kick it over the touchline, and it will be Fort Lauderdale ball. By the way, we're into our second contestant now for $100 in the Score with Safeway contest. Laurie Fedoric of 5312 141st Street in Edmonton. Good luck, Laurie. Although the 775 went to Mrs. Kay Anderson of 9545 75th Avenue moments ago on, of all things, an own goal. Oh, and I'll tell you, that Muller and Cubillas are very, very dangerous. The two attackers on a 4-4-2 setup that Fort Lauderdale utilize.
They play very well with each other up front. It's the old 1-2 touch, all the give and go, and they tried it a couple of times so far. It hasn't really yet worked to any effectiveness, other than that one goal, of course, but it's been an entertaining game so far.
Venkata put it through to Ostrom. Ostrom, he had a pass intended for Guzens, which was picked off by number 14, Eduardo Bonvallet, and Bonvallet passes in turn to Ray Hudson. This is Hudson. Hair bouncing around, gets it to Wiegand. Wiegand being marked there by Sweeney, drops it back. Fort Lauderdale content now to bide their time and set it up. And I'll tell you, that zone defense is looking a little bit porous at times, Brian.
Well, that was an offside play regardless, Al.
But I realize that, but my point is they seem to be popping through a little bit on it.
Well, it's a new thing with them, so basically they've got to watch themselves very closely until they get used to it.
This is Al McCann and Brian Rice. The score, the Strikers won, the Drillers won. Come on, people. 1-1 the score at Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Drillers on the first of a 3-game road trip. They'll be playing against the Los Angeles Aztecs on Saturday, and then on next Wednesday, a week tonight, they'll wind up their trip against the Minnesota Kicks in Minneapolis, and we'll be on television with that one live. And there's a long try, away high and wide by Drew Ferguson.
So it was Peter Nogley who shot that.
Excuse me, Nogley.
Basically, it was just a question of getting the ball cleared and reorganizing ourselves in defense here.
There's another look at Jan van Beveren, the Dutch Player of the Year. There's his counterpart, Pertti Alaya. 3 shutouts this year. Helsinki, Finland. Pertti telling me on the airplane he played for the Finnish national handball team, as did his brother. And you know, Pertti's daughter was in a bit of an accident. That's why Pertti was a day late joining the team. She fell and had a couple of teeth banged around, but I'm happy to say she's fine.
Good, good. We should mention, while we can, this system with Edmonton right now, in all previous games, they've always played a man-on-man situation whereby certain defenders were given one of the opposing attackers to mark on a man-on-man situation. As of this game, what Timo has done, he's going into a zone defense. And what happens is you back 4 people. They have an actual area on the actual field. where they cover that area, and any man that comes into that area is their man. There's no particular man that they follow around anywhere right now. So it may take, you know, a couple of games to get used to the system, and there may be some breakdowns initially, but I think it's going to be a better system all around for us.
Well, we'll see how it works out. Eduardo Bonvallet now with the ball for the Strikers. A 1-1 tie. He's at the 35-yard line, then just drops it back. Watch out for this guy, that CUBILLAS, at number 10. He's a dangerous character. But back come the Drillers. This is Tankata. Nice move by Tankata. He puts a little decon pot, gets around him for at least for a moment. Tankata again trying to drive his way into shooting position. Then John Pott gets there and knocks him down, but there's no call on the play apparently. Tankata not very happy.
I thought that was a foul, at least. It was obstruction, which would be an indirect free kick in the actual penalty area.
Let's have a look, Brian, because a foul, of course, in the penalty box area means the big thing, the penalty shot. But let's take a look.
If it's a serious one, but this was simply obstruction. You can see where he's simply knocking Hank Tankata away from the ball, but the referee wouldn't call the play.
It certainly looked like obstruction to me. David Sosha is the referee in the game here this evening at quaint LOCKHART Stadium, certainly the smallest stadium in the North American Soccer League, but they've done tremendously well. They have great fan response. There's a ball popping through, but it was whistled down on the offside. I might mention that the biggest crowd the Strikers have played before this year was last Sunday. They played the Cosmos at the Meadowlands. 70,312. That's a tremendous crowd.
I think that's the actual third largest actual league crowd ever in the league's history.
This stadium seats only about 18 or 19,000 jammed. It's got an average of 15,347, so they're playing to about 85, 90% capacity all the time in Little LOCKHART Stadium. But they've got a strong side. This is Loda Vegas. Sweeney. Drillers scored first, an own goal at 8:12. Then Muller from Cubillas and Grabowski at 13:54, and that tied it up at 1-1. That's how things stand here in half number one.
It's amazing with Muller. Basically, you know, he's never been recognized as an all-round type of soccer player, but once he gets into that penalty area, that 18-yard box, he's absolutely deadly. He's an opportunistic player and just puts the ball in net always.
There's a look at John Webb's bad finger. He still has it well wrapped, broken little finger. That's got to inhibit his play.
It does a little bit. It's weighty, you know, and it probably causes him some problems with balance at times.
Here's Loda Vegas taking a pass from Nogli, breaking up, working a give and go, but it doesn't quite work. It goes a little too long, and Van Beveren makes the play. He fires it upfield for the big star, Cubillas. TEOFILO Cubillas, number 10. He, along with Muller, number 15, the numbers to watch if you're looking for scoring from the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. But right now, it is Andre Ostrom for the Drillers, putting the ball back outside. Good play. The Drillers trying to get in position for a shot here. Kirchner dropping it back for Ostrom. Ostrom leaves it. A long drive by Ferguson is about a mile too high. And with 22.5 minutes remaining in the first half, the score, the Strikers won, the Drillers won.
Fresh air.
We're back at LOCKHART Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If you joined us late, it's a 1-1 tie. The Fort Lauderdale Strikers and the Edmonton Drillers. The Strikers in the striped uniforms. They are red and cream and black. And the Edmonton Drillers wearing their white uniforms tonight. Red numbers, blue piping. Not their normal orange uniforms that have become so familiar to Edmonton fans. But so oftentimes they find that they cannot wear their whites because of confliction of the color of the opposition. Drillers find themselves for only the second time this season playing in their white uniforms. And there's an accidental trip by number 14, Bonvallet, and he apologizes to Ostrom. It'll be free kick for the Drillers.
Well, it's true to their history, and they've scored a goal in their white uniforms again.
Isn't it a fact? I was mentioning they had 7 in the exhibition game they played, and they scored
against Houston.
Houston earlier this season in regulation time, and now they score again. So I guess the white uniforms is something Timo should get his team into more often. Hudson bringing the ball down, gets it to Fowles. Fowles looking. He tries to pump it through for Cubillas, but it goes, there's Timo Liakowski, Jay Hoffman, Bernie James on the bench, and this is Hank Tankata. Tenkata putting it through, but it's whistled down.
He's playing, Al. Actually, the actual game was called some time ago because there was an offside play in our penalty area. But Hank didn't hear the whistle.
Hank didn't hear that whistle. There's a good look at Lex Schoenmaker, a former driller. Schoenmaker, Dutch player, 32 years old. He's had 3 goals and 6 assists this year for Fort Lauderdale. And you know, Brian, it was so humid this afternoon, I don't know how they play unless the rain falls a little to kind of cool things off.
Yeah, it's a little bit windy right now, so that'll help them. And of course, as we mentioned, it rained about an hour ago and it softened the grass up a little bit, so it'll be pretty nice out there right now.
Well, hopefully it'll blow the clouds away. We still have a cloud cover right now, but man, was it humid today. Temperature got up in the 90s, and the humidity where you could cut with a knife. This is Ferguson. Ferguson looking for an opening to shoot, then has to drop it back to Nogley. Nogley loses possession, and the ball squirts into the possession of the Fort Lauderdale strikers, and coming up quickly is Schoenmaker. Schoenmaker dropping it for Fowles. This is Colin Fowles going all the way to the touchline now. Then releases the ball back to Bonvallet. Bonvallet gets it back to number 19, Ralbotsky. Ralbotsky flips for Bonvallet into the middle. They're trying to get it to the big guy, Gert Muller, in there. Muller's number 15.
There's pushing off out with the free kick to Edmonton. You can see that what Edmonton are doing, they're keeping all their men, the defensive men, in a line on the 18-yard line, and this is causing some confusion for the Fort Lauderdale forwards. They can't break for, because if they do, they're in an offside position right now.
Good observation, Brian. Number 14, once again, Bonvallet, dropping it for Hudson. Hudson tries to snap a left-footed pass, I would think, intended for Bonvallet, but it goes for a goal kick, and Elia contends to put it out to Nogley. 18 minutes remaining. We're in the first half. It's 1-1. Muller getting the only goal for Fort Lauderdale at 13:54. The Drillers scored on an own goal off a corner kick at 8:12. It looked like Kirshner had scored it, but actually, apparently, it went off the leg of number 8, Colin Fowles. Ferguson getting it through. Guzens got a good shot away, but it was right on Van Beveren, and he had a little trouble. There's a first half score. Washington leading Vancouver 1-0.
That was Johan Cruyff scored the Washington goal, I believe.
Registration ASX 70. You left your lights on in the parking lot.
You get these little homey things over the public address system here at Fort Lauderdale. We're sitting in a rather unique press box situation, too. We're wide open, actually, with just a canopy over us, right almost in. They tried to get the ball into Bonvallet, number 14, but he was brought down. Loda Vegas was called for fouling on Bonvallet. There's a look at the American Conference East, and Fort Lauderdale lead that conference, 96 points on 11-7. Tampa Bay in second place, 8 back, then New England and Philadelphia. And Philadelphia next year will be residing in Montreal. And more Canadian flavor will be added to the North American Soccer League. Number 14 will stay in the game. That's Eduardo Bonvallet from Chile. 2 goals. He's played 25 times as an international for Chile. Indirect free kick. And Perdialaya moves over and makes the grab on it.
It was a direct free kick, Al, but hit the ball there. Simply bent it away, and it was an easy save for Perdy.
This is Ostrom. Ostrom trying to get a pass to Tenkata, has it picked off by Ralbotsky. Ralbotsky gets it to Bonvallet. Bonvallet at the 35-yard line. Drops it. Dangerous play. A quick shot is taken by Ray Hudson.
Both sides are really getting the chances in the penalty box, and they're just simply having trouble putting the ball in the net. In that case, Hudson broke free, but it was a good defensive play by one of the Edmonton players. Went for a deflection and a corner kick.
The always dangerous corner kick now. 2-2 tie. Here it comes, and it's going far post corner. And racing in to trying to make the hit was Ken Fogarty, number 7. The ball is driven downfield, and it's a foot race, and out comes goalkeeper Van. and he quickly fires it back. It's been a quick to-and-fro game, Brian.
That's right. What they're doing is they're playing long balls. In that case, that wasn't really that bad a ball to Henk Tenkara. Obviously, it didn't find him. It wasn't the perfect ball, but it was a nice ball, long, 40, 50 yards, in the middle of the park. Henk was breaking in from the actual wing. He couldn't meet the ball in time. It was passed back to the goalkeeper, or the goalkeeper came out and cleared the ball himself.
Hudson and Bonvallet working a give and go there, and it resulted in a clearing shot.
There was no offside play called against Hudson regardless.
But it was whistled down, and John Webb's happy about that. Live from LOCKHART Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, this is Edmonton Drillers Soccer. 37 minutes remaining in regulation time here at LOCKHART Stadium, a 2-all tie, and the Fort Lauderdale Strikers continue to press the attack. Moving the ball, this is Schoenmaker. Schoenmaker throwing it over on the far side. Dangerously in the box is big GERD Muller, looking for that cross. It's dropped back to Hudson. Hudson tries to break through, and then Ostrom just pops it up in the air. Sweeney, they just bounce it head-to-head there in Loda Vegas. Finally gets it out a little bit farther, and it's cleared up near the center line. Fort Lauderdale not content to play defense. They want to score here at home before their home crowd.
That was a foul called against Colin Fowle of Fort Lauderdale. He simply charged Jan Goossens to the ground, and the referee called him for a free kick to Edmonton.
You know, the Drillers are without Ulf Ryberg, who is still injured, but they're also without Joe Reduca tonight, Hayden Knight, and probably a lot of fans wondering, where's Lorenz Hilkes, 13-goal scorer last year? Well, Hilkes is not on this particular trip. We'll talk more about that at our first opportunity. Drillers trying to work around the 35-yard line, and Van Beveren makes the play. Before the game, I had a chance to chat with Coach Timo Liakowski. I asked him directly, where is Lorenz Hilkes?
You know, he has a history of scoring goals, as I understand it, and he really hasn't been able to produce for us, and now young Goossens is healthy again. So I think that, you know, it's only natural that we would bring young Goossens back in, because he did score some goals for us, and Eddie and Henk Tenkara have been playing well enough for us, so hopefully Jan will do the trick.
Well, that was Timo Liakowski, and he was saying it as it is with regard to Lawrence. Hilkes only has 2 goals this year. He's just been snake-bitten in his endeavors to get goals. You saw a moment ago Fort Lauderdale score on an obvious offside play, which goalkeeper Pertialai did not even try on. This is Tenkara, number 12, just heeling it back to John Webb. Webb fires it forward, looking for Eddie Kirchner. Kirchner getting a little pushing bee with John Pott there, and the ball goes into touch.
Henk Tenkara's played his best game of the year, I think, Al. He's done a lot of running in this game tonight, and he's laid up some nice balls, and he's covered defensively, as is Jan Goossens.
He's quick. Tenkara's fast.
Very quick.
Okay, speaking of quick, here's CUBILLAS. CUBILLAS trying to work a give and go with number 5 Schoenmaker. And little body contact there involving Mike Sweeney.
And Mike was called for pushing.
Sweeney, of course, will get the call, and this is Bonvallet. Bonvallet leaving it for Muller. GERD Muller, called Der Bomber. 10 goals this year. This is Ralbowski. Back to Fowles. They go into the middle looking for their 2 front men, CUBILLAS and Muller. And Sweeney finally clears it up on the left side. Heinlein putting it through for Goossens. Goossens does a nice job on it. Or is that Tenkara?
That was Tenkara.
That was Tenkara. Very quick move there.
This referee's letting some of these infractions go.
They're doing a lot of bumping out there.
He was pushed there. That could have easily been called for an indirect free kick, but the referee allowed the play to go on. He's given Edmonton no breaks at all.
Back comes Eduardo Bonvallet. 14 of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. He leaves it. Ray Hudson. This is Schoenmaker. Lex Schoenmaker attacks on Ostrom. And the ball's picked up and brought back out of play by Nogle, at least momentarily. Then it's grabbed again by Hudson. Hudson, dangerous. Looks like a handball by Muller. And he was offside by a long ways. This is Al McCann and Brian Rice. The score, the Drillers 2, the Strikers 2. It's a 2-2 tie here at Lockhart Stadium, Fort Lauderdale. Just over 32 minutes remaining in regulation time. And about 2 minutes. Here's their bomber coming again. Gerd Muller putting it through dangerously close. A quick shot. And he did not score. And what a golden opportunity if it wasn't offside for number 14, Bonvallet.
No, it wasn't offside. I didn't catch the replay right now where CUBILLAS puts the ball through the middle here. The man is running from an onside position. You can see him right there. He was onside. He runs after the ball. Petty comes out. And just taps the ball, just taps the ball wide. But the referee didn't give a corner, he gave a goal kick. But Petty did save that actual ball.
Petty got a piece of that. Watch right there. It touched his hand.
It was left hand. His left hand, you can see the ball just change direction and go behind for the actual goal kick. It should have been a corner kick, but it wasn't.
Referee didn't see it strike the hand. A break for the Drillers there. Ironically, just after you said he's getting no breaks from the referee, the Drillers get their first break. John Webb back to Peter Nogley. Nogley to Ostrom. Good save by Alaya on that play off Bonvallet. Far side now. Guzens looking for a give-and-go situation, but the ball bounces into touch. And in just about 1 minute, we'll be changing contestants on our score with Safeway. So you've got about a minute left, Elizabeth Nicoli of 116th Avenue, to pick up a $100 voucher. And Cor Vanderhard, the coach of the Strikers, smoking and a little nervous here because I think, Brian, the Strikers had to underrate the Drillers a bit.
Well, I think they did. We're having a sub brought on right now. Cacciatore is coming on. Number 11, Jeff Cacciatore.
Whose place did he take? Cacciatore is out there, number 11.
And Edmonton, I think, are also making a substitution.
Cacciatore is an American. Get this, he's 21 years old. Get this, he's 5'2", 125 pounds. He has to be the smallest guy in the NASL.
He's just a little bit smaller than Mike Sweeney, I think. Edmonton are also bringing on Benny James.
Oh, Eduardo Bonvallet has been taken out, number 14, who's been having a very good game, I thought. And Cacciatore is in. He wears number 11, Jeff Cacciatore, an American. And Bernie James is in.
Benny James has come in, and it looks as though Peter Nogley's left the game.
No, there's Nogley. There's
Nogley's still there.
It'll be a defender.
Dwight's still there.
Sweeney is still there. Dwight is still there. It must be Ostrom.
No, he can't.
Ostrom is still there.
I think it's Drew Ferguson now.
He's taken the place of a midfielder.
Still there.
Well, yeah, Webb must be gone. No, Webb is still there. How about that? It's a mystery. We've got too many players on the field. Tenkata is still there. Is Heinlein there? 11,106 is the announced attendance. And we've got a change in contestants, by the way, now for a $125 voucher on our score with Safeway. Alma Boyd of 11301 67th Street. There's a look at the bench. And Jan Guzens, who is coming off an injury, of course, is out of the game now. And that's not too surprising because he is out of the game. And Bernie James going in. The only thing I find strange about that, Brian, is Bernie is a defender and Guzens is a forward. I would have thought Computer Lamola might have gone in, or Ross Ungaro.
Well, what they're going to do, they're going to bring, I think, Peter Nogley forward. They'll use Bainey as the stopper, they'll use Dwight as the sweeper, and they'll start pushing Peter Nogley forward down the middle of the park.
Well, it was a very interesting substitution by Coach Liakowski there, bringing in Bernie James, big number 20, a defender, out of Seattle, 21-year-old 190-pounder, for forward Jan Guzens. And we'll watch now and see how they readjust their attacking unit.
There's a foul called against Edmonton for obstruction by Tenkata.
Tenkata's a rugged player. He plays the game very physically, and he gets another foul called on him. So here's the kick by Schoenmacher. It bounces into the penalty area. Number 7, Fogarty, trying to get a shot over. Then a long shot is headed back out by Nogley. 19, Ralbalski is there. This is Schoenmacher. John Webb. Nice save there by Ralbalski. Then Dwight Lodevegas, a long ways upfield, punches it to Tenkata. Tenkata getting it through for Heinlein, but he couldn't get the play, and it's back to Ralbalski. With 7 minutes left, Tulsa's leading Atlanta 5-0. Meanwhile, 11,106 fans watching the action as number 4 goes down, and that, of course, is Ray Hudson.
Ray Hudson was brought down by Peter Nogley, and the referee went over and gave Peter Nogley a talking to.
But no
Peter
card.
didn't think it was a serious foul and just waved back at Ray Hudson, you know, stop play acting type deal.
Anyway, it was not a yellow card for Nogley, just a little bit of stern warning from the official. This is Ken Fogarty, number 7, firing it over on the far side. Ball put into the middle, little give and go, and then a quick shot that's way high. And with 27 minutes remaining in regulation time, the score Edmonton 2, Fort Lauderdale 2. The Edmonton Drillers trying to break out of a long slump on the road. Tied 2-2 against Fort Lauderdale. 26 minutes remaining, regulation time. But the Fort Lauderdale Strikers on the attack. But Tenkata gets the ball. Tenkata for the Drillers coming downfield at center. Tenkata tried to get it across to Eddie Kirshner. He does, but it was a little slow. Kirshner's checked by Pott. Kirshner putting on good speed, rips a shot. It's knocked down at the back line.
It was a handball, Al. That was a handball.
And it was a handball.
And Eddie was also brought down.
And Kirshner seems to be hurt. Eddie Kirshner, number 9, who has 5 goals. Let's have a look.
Right, you can see Eddie cutting across the field here, and the actual defender is in pursuit of him as John Potts. Eddie strikes the ball with his left foot, hits the ball quite hard. You can see it hits the actual defender on the left arm, but also Eddie's brought down by John Potts and has been called for a free kick.
Pott was tugging at him, and Kirshner seems to be in some pain. Todd Snyder is out there immediately, the Drillers trainer. As you can see, Kirshner, 5 goals, 5 assists this season for 15 points. He is the leading point producer for the Edmonton Drillers this year. Dwight Lodevegas has a total of 13 points on 6 goals and 1 assist. If you joined us late, Muller and CUBILLAS scored the goals in the first half for Fort Lauderdale. The Drillers got an own goal when the ball went in off Fort Lauderdale player at 8-12, and the other goal was scored by Kirshner, his 5th of the year at 34-17. So that's how it stands, 2-2, and there's a look at the Drillers bench. What a good one this would be for the Drillers to win. 1-5 on the road. 3-game losing streak right now. A bang shot, good save by Van Beveren. Another shot, then recovery by Fort Lauderdale.
That was a beautiful shot by Peter Nogley. It was a direct free kick, and Peter hit the ball just beautifully, firmly low. And Van Beveren made a real nice save on that shot.
Yes, he certainly did. This is number 19 moving upfield now, Rybovsky. They bounce it. You're looking for little number 11, Jeff Cacciatore, the smallest guy in the NASL at 5'2", 120 pounds. Back comes Webb now, the captain of the Drillers, pumping it through. A little foot race there. Heinlein getting close. Right in front, easy goal! Kirshner!
Good goal. There's a nice ball by John Webb that starts the play off. It went through to Klaus Heinlein. The defender got mixed up in the play. It came across from Heinlein. There's a ball by John initially. We catch a replay right now on this.
Here's a look at it.
Here we go. You can see John making a lovely ball through to Klaus Heinlein. Klaus breaks into the penalty area. Colin Fowl gets all tied up. Klaus beats him. Goes to the sideline, puts the ball back. You can see Eddie all by himself, and he even scored with his right foot out.
Oh,
That's
good.
a very important goal for us.
Good play by Webb, good play by Heinlein, too.
A real good play by John, a lovely ball, a nice play by Heinlein to beat his man. He maintains possession of the ball, he looks up, passes the ball across the goal. Eddie's there all by himself, and an easy goal for Eddie.
And Kirshner's 6th goal of the year. He now has 17 points, and the Edmonton Drillers break in front here 3-2, and a $125 voucher is won by, let's see, yes, it is, Alma Boyd of 11301 67th Street in Edmonton. And boy, the Safeway groceries are rolling out tonight, Brian.
Well, they'll be pleased now.
Back comes Ray Hudson. Sheriff Stu McGregor and the boys are always happy to be involved in the sporting scene. And tonight, the Edmonton Drillers are really showing something. This is Schoenmaker. Schoenmaker, bad angle now, all the way to the line. Then the ball goes right, dangerously across that goal mouth before it's cleared downfield. Eddie Kirshner makes a nice move, then is knocked down. He was taken down by Ken Fogarty.
Eddie tends to go down dramatically. That was definitely a foul, there's no question. But Eddie tends to kind of throw himself down every time he's tripped, you know.
He doesn't want the referee to miss it.
No, but he should keep some of those for the penalty area, you know, if he can.
Okay, Brian, live from Lockhart Stadium, this is Edmonton Drillers Soccer.
There's always a time when you've got more stuff to carry than your car will hold.
The game tonight is 5th and 6th of the season, and he is down now from A bump that he took from Ken Fogarty a moment ago. And there's Timo Liakowski and Dusty Hoffman. And those coaches have to be a little apprehensive but happy.
Oh, they've got to be pleased, even for the fact they've scored 3 goals, Alan. It's got to be great for them, you know.
That's 3 points for sure.
That's right.
And they're only 1 point ahead of the third-place San Diego team in their division. There's the official, Kirshner, Heinlein, and Webb. Heinlein and Webb getting assists on Kirshner's goal at 65:05. And it's 3-2. The Drillers lead it. This is Nogley trying to pump it by the last of the defensive line, but it's picked off by number 4, Ray Hudson. Hudson coming upfield now. The Strikers trying to get it going, and they'll be dangerous. Their cheerleaders are trying to help them. Jeff Cacciatore couldn't make a play, so he drops it back for number 21, Rick Wiegand. Wiegand gets it through to Hudson. Then it's grabbed away by the Drillers, Heinlein, and he clears to Kirshner. Webb coming up now on the overlap. Kirshner moving to center, slowing it down. Kirshner went too far that he finally had to bang it all the way back, and that's going to be a difficult ball to save, but Mike Sweeney gets back to save it.
That was a bad pass by Eddie.
It was too hard.
Well, he was attempting to put the ball forward. Actually, he mishit the ball. It went all the way back into the defensive zone.
Now it's Nogley. The veteran Oak from Hamburg. Over to Andre Ostrom. Ostrom, 27-year-old Dutch player. 2 goals on the year. He gives it to Loda Vegas. 22 minutes remaining in regulation time. Drillers up by 1. This is Bernie James. Seattle product, 21 years old. But the ball goes over the line, and Fort Lauderdale will take over possession now. And it's going to be tough defense time. There's Ostrom getting back into his defensive position as Teofilio Cubillas drops the ball back to John Pott. Cubillas knocks it over on the far side as the Drillers set defensively. Cacciatore putting it into the middle for Hudson. Hudson bangs it dangerously, but then Pertialaya picks up the loose ball.
What Edmonton are doing now, they're standing in a defensive line on the 18-yard line, and that's really confusing Fort Lauderdale. They don't know how to adjust to it, because if a man tends to venture into the goal area, once a pass is made to that man, he is offside. So they've got to stand on the line with our players, and it's forcing Fort Lauderdale to shoot deep right now, and they're not penetrating the way they were in that first half. So we've adjusted very well defensively, I think.
This is Tincata with some good moves. Then he drops the ball back. John Webb. Webb putting it through for Kirshner. Kirshner fires from a long ways out, but it's right on Van Beveren. I don't know, Brian, if they win with that zone defense, I think we've seen the end of the man-to-man.
Well, you can see this replay right now, just the previous play where John Webb has the ball, passes it through to Eddie, goes on the overlap, but Eddie turns around, has a good shot on goal, actually. He kind of doesn't hit the corner the way he should have done, but it was a good shot on goal. It keeps the goalkeeper honest, you know. He's got to watch what he's doing.
Meanwhile, back live, it's Fowl. Fowle's getting a shot from a long ways out, and it's kicked into touch. It'll be Fort Lauderdale ball. 20 minutes remaining in regulation time. This is Hudson. Hudson leaving it for Wiegand. Schoenmacher. Lex puts it through. James is there banging away with Muller. And it's back to Wiegand. Wiegand, number 21, playing only a second game as a starter for Fort Lauderdale, gives to Cacciatore. Cacciatore on a give and go with his teammate Hudson, but it fails to click, and the ball finally ends up over the goal line.
Like I mentioned now, what they're doing, they're forcing them to shoot from long range, and right now it's causing Perty no problems at all.
Good defensive strategy.
Oh, yeah. See, what they've done is they brought Bainey into the game, and that means it gives them, in essence, 3 central defenders, because in that first half, what was happening is that the actual Fort Lauderdale team were coming down the middle, and they were penetrating through the middle, not the wings. We've brought another central defender on, and it's just taking the middle completely away from them.
Well, Rick Wiegand is coming out of the game for the Strikers, and Nico Bodonzi is going in. Nico Bodonzi, he wears number 26, and Bodonzi is from Chile. He's now an American. He's 25 years old. Played for Miami at one time. He's 6 feet, 160 pounds. He's got 1 assist on the season, and he's into the game now. Nico Bodonzi, number 26, replacing Rick Wiegand, number 21. 19 minutes and a few seconds remaining in regulation time. Drillers trying to hold on to a 3-2 lead. The ball back to Pertialaya. Bernie James, well-muscled Seattle product, moving up for the Drillers now. And there's Wiegand. He played very well, I'm told, in his first game. Ball stolen by Ralbovsky. But John Webb does a nice defensive job and gets that away. Here's Tenkata. Tenkata. Webb on the overlap. Tenkata, who has good speed, breaks over the 35. Tenkata looking, then fires too far for Webb. Webb slowed down on Tenkata. Maybe Hank thought he was breaking in.
Yeah, Hank should have gone better than what he did out with that ball.
This is Al McCann with Brian Rice. The score, the Drillers 3, the Strikers 2. This holiday white, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the red, the cream, and the black, and it's 3-2. Drillers lead. We have 17 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this, the second half of regulation time. The Drillers trying to run the clock down now with that zone defense. Keep Fort Lauderdale at bay, and they're a high-scoring team. This is Pertialaya. Finnish goalkeeper, 3 shutouts on the year. Bernie James. Upfield for Ed Kirchner. Kirchner, who has 2 goals in the game, plays the give-and-go game with Ostrom. Kirchner now rolling it for Andre Ostrom. Ostrom driving for the corner. Does some neat faking and then has the ball blocked by number 7, Ken Fogarty.
Edmonton are surprising me because really, although they're playing a very good game, it's very humid here, and we all know that they're a very, very fit team. But we were talking earlier on that maybe the heat would get to them, but it hasn't. They're still full of running. They're going on the overlap. The defenders are coming up. John Webb's coming up well. Dwight's penetrating forward. Andre's coming up, and really they really complement each other very well. They're playing an all-round good game right now.
Excellent point, because it's very, very humid. It was particularly humid this afternoon. We thought it would sap the Drillers, but they're running right with the Strikers, which tells you something about Liakoski as a coach. They're a fit team. Okay, Mike Sweeney. It's going to be a near-post corner. Mike Sweeney puts it up there dangerously. The head was applied to it by Ed Kirchner, but he got it away wide. They've been dangerous on their goal kicks more so tonight, their corner kicks, than ever before.
Well, they're always dangerous on those corner kicks now because they've got it down to a nice fine art, and it's resulted in many goals, as you know, so far this season.
This is Steve Ralbovsky coming back now. Leaves it for Schoenmacher. Lex Schoenmacher back to Ralbovsky. He's checked by Webb on the near side. Strikers trail by 1. They get the ball back to Kubillas.
They're being forced out again. You can see every time a man has the ball, if he goes to beat that defender, there's always another defender or another player behind him that he has to beat.
And the ball goes bounding down over the goal line. Let's have a look at Eddie Kirchner. What a game he's having. 17 points, 2 goals tonight, and he's playing awfully well. He's playing up front along with Tenkata. Guzan's also started up there with him. Now the Drillers are thinking defense. With 15 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, they have the 3-2 lead and a chance for a 9-point victory. And boy, that would really boost their stock in their conference. John Webb, number 5, racing down the near side, looking on the overlap. Heinlein fires it across, but it's too high and too far.
Again, not a bad effort by Klaus, because I think everyone thought that was a centre. What he did with that, he hit that with the outside of his foot, and the ball, as you could see, it went in towards the goal, and then it's just swerved away and over the crossbar.
Okay, Brian, we might mention our last contestant now for this particular game. A $100 score with Safeway voucher. And Cora Brent of Box 54 in Winterburn has a chance. And Cora, the way we're giving the groceries away tonight, your chances are great. Schoenmacher from a long ways out, fires. Alaya makes the save off Lex Schoenmacher, and a dangerous thrust that time.
That was. We can catch this on replay right now. You can see Kubillas is just knocking the ball across into the centre of the park. Schoenmacher picks the ball up from Kubillas, and he strikes the ball well, and he keeps the ball low. He comes through a crowded goalmouth low. Haiti goes down well, makes a nice save.
The ball just got by Bernie James's foot, but Perdy made the save.
They're difficult to see them because they are low. They come through a ruck of players, and it's going to be a reflex save by the goalkeeper.
Here's the attack now. Bodonzi making a bit of a rush here. Number 26, the new player. Back momentarily to Kubillas. And then back comes the Edmonton Drillers' Drew Ferguson. Ferguson, 4-on-3 right now. Ferguson throwing it too far, I think. Tenkata can't save it. Coming over on the airplane talking to Perti Alaya, Brian, he was telling me that sometimes on those plays, he'd rather the players give him some vision.
Well, that's right, but in that case, it wasn't a set play, Al. Of course, the players are all in movement, so you can't do that, you know, but it was still a good save by Perti, nonetheless.
This is Cubillas, always dangerous, but this time no cigar. Dwight Lodevegas there doing a good job. Cubillas again, looking in the middle. But the ball comes back out to Lodevegas, who pumps it to Alaya very neatly.
Good covering again. Dwight knew what was going to happen. He knew it was a 1-2. He went into the space that Cubillas should have been in. Passed the ball back to Perti.
Drillers 3, Fort Lauderdale 2. Drillers off to Los Angeles for a game Saturday. And then next Wednesday, a week tonight, they'll be playing the Minnesota Kicks, and we'll be televising that one live from the Twin Cities. The Drillers, Drew Ferguson doing a good job. Ferguson looking for Eddie Kirshner, but it's nicely fielded that time by John Pott. And back upfield comes Ray Hudson. Crossfield now for Ralbalski. Ralbalski coming down. Dangerous. The ball goes in. And it's Schoenmaker with his centering pass. And Lodevegas drills it away. All the way to center. Good play by Big Lodevegas.
Although it was a nice cross by Schoenmaker, Muller is not good with his head. He's too small. When he got that ball down onto his feet, there were 4 Edmonton defenders there to clear away.
Well, Edmonton will play tenaciously now, you can bet. Ralbalski bringing it back again for Fort Lauderdale. Dangerously in front again. Close play, the ball bounces around in there, but it's finally whistled down.
Yeah, there was a free kick called against Muller for pushing out.
That's the big guy, GERD Muller, trying to get free there. And now with 12 minutes remaining in the second half, the score is Edmonton 3, Fort Lauderdale 2. Strikers. We have 11 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in regulation time here in the second half. The Drillers coming out of the depths of despair, so to speak, after losing and not scoring for 5 games, trying to hold on now. A dangerous play, though. The ball finally knocked away by Bernie James, who came in to do a defensive job on big GERD Muller.
A good play by Bernie. Obviously, what has happened is Timo has brought Bernie on to watch Muller, because Muller is a very physical player. He's very robust. He's got legs like tree trunks, 2 plates of meat, basically, and Bernie has done a good job on him since he's come on the actual field.
You're not a 7-time scoring champion in First Division soccer in Germany without being a good one. Your bomber, 62 times an international. There's the corner. And it's headed out of play for a moment.
It was by Peter Nobley.
GERD is 34, by the way. He's 5'10", 170, and has tremendous threat in the penalty box. Ball back in the midfield. Tenkata comes racing for it, but it bounces away. Well, next Saturday you'll see football on television. The Eskimos in Calgary, and then next Wednesday, a week tonight, it's the Drillers in Minnesota from the Twin Cities. I hope you'll join us for that one. The Drillers winding up a 3-game road trip, and Timo Liakoski told us earlier today he thinks they can win all 3 games. We chuckled a little. Now I'm not sure, but Timo might know something.
Well, this is a good start. I mean, this Fort Lauderdale team are the 4th team in the entire league so far, based upon their record, so they're beating a good team right now.
And they're awful tough at home. They've won 7. They've lost only twice here at Lockhart Stadium. Pressing, trying to tie. They trail 3-2. Time ticking away on them. Long shot. Oh, off the top bar, and the rebound goes miles high into the stand. But there was a dangerous try.
That was Cacciatore, the young kid who just came on. We can catch a replay of this right now. You can see the ball being fed across into the middle. Cacciatore gets possession of the ball and just hits the ball with his left foot, about 22 yards out, and it rockets off the crossbar. Percy didn't even go for the ball.
He did.
He did, but late. Fortunately, there was no one there to get the rebound, and it went behind for an actual goal kick to Edmonton.
Reminiscent of one a game ago when the Drillers hit that top stanchion, so now that's tit for tat. This is Eddie Kirshner, 2 goals in the game. Gives it to Tenkata. Tenkata and Webb and Kirshner working a 3-on-3 here. Tenkata leaves it for John Webb. Webb drops it back for Andre Ostrom. Ostrom to Webb. Over to Kirshner. Kirshner takes it to the 35-yard line now. Looking for Heinlein, but he can't get by number 7, Ken Fogarty. And Fogarty comes back now for Fort Lauderdale. 8.5 minutes remaining. This is number 19, Ralbalski. Ralbalski looking for, of course, Muller in the penalty box. Instead, he goes to the new player, Bodanzi. Dangerous. Quick shot. Great save. Great save off Hudson by Perdialaya. Let's look at that one again, Brian. Hudson got good foot on that one.
Right, Al, he did. He took the ball away from the goal, as you can see, with his chest, and he turns it on and swivels, hits it with his left foot. Perty had it covered very well, had the angle covered, went down and made a nice save.
And Alaya gets a long kick away with 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining now. Drillers up by 1, trying to win their second game of the year on the road. Back comes Jeff Cacciatore. He's looking again for number 4, Ray Hudson. Hudson, and out comes Alaya, tumbling and rolling. Well, they're really fired up now. There's a score in the second half. Tampa Bay now leading San Diego 2-0. So this could be a big night for the Drillers. If they win and San Diego lose, they'll move 10 points ahead. That's 10 points ahead of San Diego if they win and San Diego are shut out.
That's right, Al. We have 9 points right now. We have 6 for the actual win, providing that we can maintain the win, of course, and 3 points for each goal that we've scored. Fort Lauderdale have 2 points, being the 2 goals that they have scored.
Number 4, Ray Hudson, is down with a bad leg there, and their trainer, Jeff Dooley, is out to administer aid. Bob Lemieux is the general manager of this striker organization, and what a unique organization it is, Brian. They play in the smallest park. It's reminiscent of a high school football field to me, and yet they've got a great warm feeling for the fans. The fans are close to the game and a great field.
Yeah, it's very homey, actually, Al. As you say, they're all close to the field, and you can tell that the fans love the team.
Cor Vanderhart. Let's have a look at that injury to Hudson. It was in a collision with Perty Alaya. Here comes Alaya charging out.
Right, well, Perty came up because he knew that ball was going to be reached by Hudson, so you can see Hudson actually jumping in the air and going at it with his foot. That should have been called for a foul, actually, but the referee didn't. It went behind for a corner kick to the Fort Lauderdale team instead.
Well, Ray Hudson's up. Here comes the corner kick, and it could be close, and it's banged up in the air. Watch out. Ostrom went right over the back that time of CUBILLAS. And what are they calling?
Well, they're calling a free kick to Edmonton. They're saying that CUBILLAS wasn't playing the ball. He just stood there, and he therefore obstructed Andre Ostrom, and it was a free kick awarded to Edmonton.
I agree with them. It looked to me like CUBILLAS was just playing the ball, but the referee gives it to Edmonton, and certainly Timo Liakowski and the Drillers aren't going to argue about that one because calls go both ways in this game. This is the Drillers again on offense. Long shot taken and steered aside easily by number 7, Ken Fogarty. But now the time is starting to tick away. 6 minutes and 47 seconds left as Jan Van Beveren goes back into his goal for the Strikers. It's going to be a corner kick for Edmonton. We'll see. They're going to set up a near post corner. Heinlein will take the corner kick, number 8. 25-year-old German with 2 goals. Here it comes. It's headed into the side of the goal. And goal kick for Strikers. And it's going to be a awfully exciting last 6 minutes for Timo Liakowski and Jay Hoffman and all the Driller fans because this is a very, very potent team from Fort Lauderdale. And right now, here's TEOFILO CUBILLAS moving the ball. It's dropped back. It's put through. And it bounces clear finally, but again, that pile in the center on this new defensive system the Drillers are employing manages to stop Fort Lauderdale.
Well, you mentioned they're a potent team, Aaron. They are, because there's only 4 teams in this league have scored more goals than them this year. So Edmonton are playing, as we've mentioned before, a very strong team, and they've played them very well, and simply have done a tremendous job in this game so far.
Their 2 frontmen have 17 goals between them, and there's a very concerned Cor Vanderhart, the coach of the Strikers. His team, he hoped, would win tonight, but right now they're fighting to get a tie and get some overtime. They've got 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining as Colin Fowles brings the ball up, puts it into the middle, and breaking through neatly was Loda-Vegas. And Loda-Vegas did a nice job defensively there. And then the ball is cleared back upfield. Hink, Tenkata, good speed. Tenkata breaks over the 35. Oh, and he's tripped. And Ken Fogarty is yelling that he didn't, but I think he did.
Fogarty is complaining that he simply ran into him, you know, but that was a definite infraction. And Fogarty has just been shown the yellow card for dissent, obviously talking to the referee, Al.
Yellow card for Fogarty on that trip and then that argument. Let's look at it again, Brian. I think it's quite obvious that there was a trip involved.
Well, you can see Hanks with sheer speed here, breaking away from the original defender. And then Fogarty just stands there, leg comes out, and it was an obvious trip, there was no question.
Well, we can look at that from another angle, and make absolutely sure for any Fort Lauderdale fans who might be residing in our northern Alberta viewing audience.
Watch the left leg come out.
There it comes.
There
he stuck his leg
just
out.
Simply, you know, he took Henko away from the gay ball completely.
Tenkata took a heck of a tumble there, too.
I'd like to, if I can, I'll take a quick chance to wish Malou Webb happy birthday. She's 23 years of age today, and I told her if I had a chance, I'd wish her a happy birthday on the air, and she'd pay me the $10 when I got back.
Soon to be mother Malou Webb. Well, not really soon, but...
Well, 8 months, 7 months.
8 months from now. John Webb's wife we're speaking of course. There's Coach Timo Liakowski walking. There's John Beretta, Ron Klinkenberg reading right to left. Ross Ungaro, Jan Guzens. Okay, we've got 4 minutes, 48 seconds remaining for Cora Brent to win a $100 voucher, and also for the Drillers to win a soccer game on the road. 11,106 Fort Lauderdale fans exhorting their strikers to come back, tie it up, and win it in extra time.
I think we have a sub coming on for Edmonton right now. I think Ross Ungaro is going to be coming onto the field. They may be taking...
Yes, Ongaro is going to come in, and we'll see who is going to come out.
I think probably Hank went out, Al, although I'm not too certain.
Tenkata probably, because he took a heck of a tumble there. He did. Tenkata goes out after that tumble.
Played
and
a
Ross
good game.
Ongaro, Hank had a fine game. Ross Ongaro, number 11, is into the game. He, of course, the #1 draft choice of the Edmonton Drillers, an Edmonton product, 20 years old, 6'1", 170 pounds, has 1 goal. He scored it in his very first game with the Drillers after coming back off that injury that he had at the training camp period that really inhibited the start of the season.
That's right. That was against Portland, of course, at Edmonton, and Ross was very pleased that he scored his first goal.
Ross played at Eastern Illinois, played very well. Long shot is away wide.
That's a deflection. Went for a corner kick to Edmonton.
Well, the deflection gives Edmonton the corner kick chance with 4.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Another goal would just about seal the fate of the strikers for this particular night. It'll be a near post corner again. There's Kirshner, number 9, getting in position. There's Ferguson getting in position. Heinlein's kick comes, and it's headed away neatly by CUBILLAS. The strikers running out of minutes now, trying to get something going. Schoenmacher looking for Ralbowski, and he drops it over instead for Hudson. Hudson gives it to CUBILLAS. Here's CUBILLAS. CUBILLAS to Schoenmacher. Schoenmacher back to CUBILLAS. CUBILLAS breaking in. He shoots. Good save. Oh, good play and good save by Elia.
That was a nice defensive play by Fort Lauderdale, but again, it was a good save. He had the angle covered. We can catch this thing on replay again. You can see where Schoenmacher has the ball, strokes through. As you can see, now CUBILLAS is coming on a wide run. Hits the ball with the right side of his foot. Perry makes a nice save, goes down low, smothers the ball quite easily.
Yeah, well, Pretty didn't know if he was going to go to the near side or the far side. CUBILLAS picked the far side, and Pretty was equal. Now, trying to get going in there. So that was Ongaro, number 11. Just kind of throws it away in disgust with 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. 3-2 Drillers. Fort Lauderdale really pressing now. This is CUBILLAS again. TEOFILO CUBILLAS, and was he ever dangerous? Number 10. CUBILLAS with the ball. Drops it back. It's pumped into the middle. They were looking. This is Rybowski. Rybowski can't get a shot away against the good checking there. Rybowski pumps it back out. Oh, and a dangerous play is broken up by the Drillers there, as Fort Lauderdale are always on the attack, it seems.
Well, they have to push forward right now, and they're doing so.
Well, the Vegas couldn't handle it. Back comes DeBonzi.
Good tackle by Nogley, Al.
Nice play by Nogley. The ball is back to Schoenmacher again. He's working with CUBILLAS, and the shot goes wide. It wasn't hit very well, and it goes wide, and now there's 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. There's a look at number 19, walking back, Steve Ralbowski. He's a Yugoslav, now an American, 27 years old. And Timo Liakowski he's really sweating out these last seconds, I'll tell you. He wants this win so badly on the road to break their long, dry spell. He feels it's almost a mental barrier with the team now, their road performance. Eddie Kirshner couldn't get that one. The ball comes again to Rybowski. Rybowski getting it to CUBILLAS. CUBILLAS putting it through. Ongaro's there to hit it back up to the 35-yard line. And then Drew Ferguson is caught, I think, using his hands on John Pott.
He's called for pushing off, Al, giving us a free kick.
Ball kicked back into the midfield area. Now there's only a minute and a half remaining. Ken Fogarty has it. Fogarty looping it through. And it's cleared back to the goalkeeper, Perty Alaya.
Nice play again by Peter Nobley. Very calm, very cool. Took the ball, trapped it well, just turned it out and stroked it back to Perty. We have just about a minute left in the game, Al. So
two goals by Kirchner and one goal, an own goal, scored actually off Fort Lauderdale. Those are the 3 goals for the Drillers tonight, but it's not over yet. Here comes Fort Lauderdale, but quickly the ball is cleared back into the midfield again.
It's a 3-on-1 break for Edmonton right now, so they should try and penetrate as much as they can.
Drew Ferguson slowing it down now, knowing the time is ticking away. Keep the ball in the Fort Lauderdale zone if possible, as long as possible. Ongaro doing a little bumping down there. The ball finally does squirt to Fort Lauderdale. This could be their last chance. There's 38 seconds remaining. And the Strikers are trying to mount something. Their fans are cheering and chanting. They want them to tie this up. Carrying the ball now is Bodanzi. There's only 20 seconds remaining, and Bodanzi tried to get it to Cubillas.
And took up Eddie Kirchner.
And it went off Kirchner, so they retained possession, but now they're really struggling for time. Cubillas at center. They have 13 seconds left. He fires it into the center, and the ball is just hit up in the air by Ongaro. It's headed back into trouble, and a loose ball bounces out there. Perty comes out, and the ball smartly by Bernie James kicked over the goal line, even though it was a bad thing from a goal kick.
It's the game, Al.
It could be the end of the game. It is the end of the game.
Yep.
And Bernie James made the last play, kicking the ball away, and the Edmonton Drillers have finally broken their long dry spell. The final score in Fort Lauderdale, the Drillers 3, the Strikers 2, will return in a moment.